I want to know, how did you arrive at this? Was there an episode that helped you get this perspective that there are many more things, not just one, or was it gradual? What led to this understanding?
I mean, a lot of failures and a lot of, I won't call them failures, but a lot of setbacks in my own head. I mean, they weren't really setbacks as well. Like if I do some mistake, then I'm very confrontational. I say sorry, like uh, it's like my favorite word. And I talk to people. Okay, bhai, galti ho gaya mere se. So I'm really sorry. Tell me what went wrong here. I'm quite honest like that. Okay, मैं क्यों नहीं पूछूं? मतलब whoever is there, if I screw up something, I go and ask people. Okay, tell me where did I went wrong.
Hmm.
So people told me, and again, I'll keep going back to Harshik and Vinith because these last 3 years have been very transformational as a person as well since we started our own business. Uh, I have my own fights with simplicity.
Okay.
Like I want all these big things in life. I wanted all these grand things like go out and buy things and all of that. And my approach to life has also become like that in a lot of ways. So while talking about ideas, while talking about life in general, I was always like a megalomaniac. And so Harshik and Vinith used to tell me, you know what, there are simple things. And time also told me, like, there are simple things around that you should look at and then you should appreciate. And one fine day we got into an argument, and then the argument went on to me being a very arrogant sort of a person in my head. And then I was like, no, I think what they're trying to say is look at the simple stuff where the life comes from, not always, it doesn't have to be big all the time with what you want. So sorry, I totally missed your question and I went
No,
off
no,
for
I
a while.
like it. I like it. This is absolutely right. So, yeah. So, the process you're describing the process.
Yeah.
My question is from arrogance to humility. Again, the
Hmm.
question remains the same with a little more piercing, concentrated part. So,
Hmm.
this part from arrogance to saying sorry to everyone. Now, these seem contrary to me.
Yeah.
So, how did
So
that happen?
I wasn't arrogant to people. I was just arrogant and myself. Like I would bully myself. Okay, why are you doing that? Why would you say that? Like I said, I analyze things just too much, over analyze things and overthink too much. So I stopped myself from doing that, and I looked at the simple things like they can't be thinking like that about me. They can't be doing that about me. Or everyone wants, maybe I'm just projecting onto others. So to be honest, they were the ones who told me that just calm down. And through the process I realized कि नहीं यार मतलब basically I listened to people whoever was trying to tell me something.
So what was not happening earlier? Why were you arrogant earlier and what happened? Is there a sense of, okay, let me rephrase this. What was it about Harshit and Vinith's tone?
Hmm.
What was it about this kind of trust, or what brought this about? How how did this acceptance of a differing point of view? See, arrogance is listening to only oneself.
Yeah, that's what. So that's where it happened. Like I would have my ideas to myself and I would not work upon it. I would just stay back and think over it. Okay, chal, I'm right. I will do this. I will do this. And whenever everything is done, I would just in the end tell them that this is what it is. Then they would be like, no, I mean you should be open to others. You should talk to others so that your idea will also grow from maybe seed to a plant. Not just keep it to yourself because it might just rot later.
Okay.
So just to open up myself, just to open me up, they pushed me in a way. Okay, just look at a simpler side as well to life.
Okay. Uh,
Yes, yes.
so no, my question is unanswered yet in terms of You
Okay.
did talk about your process. Uh, Let me just think how to phrase it. Okay, I have been. Okay, I'll give you a funny way of
Hmm.
how I got into that zone. When I was
Hmm.
far, um, I think in my twenties, late twenties or early 30s,
Hmm.
I had this friend, and we used to have these huge posters on near the station. So there was this poster of a tiger which said, "It is hard to be humble when you are as great as I am." And I used to quote it to a friend. And then obviously 15, 20 years have passed. And the other day, last year or something, we were chatting on WhatsApp and she quoted that. I said that
Hmm.
now the tiger is old. It's quite humble. Um, and I was looking back. One thing that helped me particularly was this intense need to learn
Hmm.
writing. In my case, writing, the uh, knowledge itself was quite fulfilling.
Hmm.
And I also had the sense of not feeling good enough in my work. So I worked a lot about that. Luckily, the guy who taught me, unfortunately, passed away last year, but Nurul Islam,
Hmm.
he he believed in me. So even while I had my questions whether I was good enough, he kept believing in me. And the combination of these things, I listened, uh, and it worked for me. This combination. So what I'm trying to get from you,
Exactly.
this combination of things. I heard. Obviously, he was uh, very senior to me, and his
Hmm.
belief in me gave me a lot of strength, which was an emotional reaction. And he
Hmm.
never laughed at any of my questions. I could ask as many questions, as many stupid questions as I wanted. He never laughed at it. I would ask him the most ridiculous questions. My line, which is the worst line, I would say, client has loved it. So why are you allowing me to send it? This is not the best we can do for the client. He would say, this is not your first line. For example, you gave him the best line first,
Hmm.
he did not buy into it. The second one, he didn't buy. Now he's buying the
Yeah.
seventh line. Obviously, there's only so much you can do. It is his money.
Hmm.
Stop being arrogant. His ad. He has every right to buy what he wants to.
Yeah.
So these kind of questions and answers kind of worked for me. So my question to you is: here is a person who is very arrogant,
Hmm.
uh,
Hmm.
very clear about how he wants to live his life. He comes in contact with two people. What is
Hmm.
it about this combination that kind of put you at ease with being humble about it? Why would you be humble? Why were you not humble earlier if it was that easy? What was the trigger point?
I think I was humble in with others. What I'm trying to say is I would just feel that I'm right. Like with my ideas and all of that, I would feel that I'm right and whatever I'm doing is right. And I had a very narrow view of life. And when I met Harshik and Vinith, that maybe that narrowness just opened up, maybe. And
And what made it open
as you
up?
said,
What made
I I listened to a lot of things that we were trying to do, and we were facing things like like rejections happened, and then a lot of projects happened, a lot of learnings happened throughout the way. Uh, and as I think creative people, we feed off energies of each other and things as well. Whatever we see, whatever we read, whoever we are with. So them being so grounded and them being so their feet would always touch the ground, like even if their minds were always up there. That's what I realized, and that's what I aspire to be. So seeing them work, seeing them, being with them, and yeah, I think that was a process as well. And that dark phase in between just triggered the whole thing. कि ये बहुत हो गया है, अभी तू यही कर रहा था, अभी you need a change now. You have to just disrupt things so that you see it in a different light, see yourself in a different light. And I think it didn't happen ऐसा बहुत पहले की बात भी नहीं, अब भी during the lockdown only this, I mean during the lockdown or before the lockdown, it all just happened.
I think I'll have to get Vineet on the show because Harshik also seems to have changed during the lockdown. You seem to change during the lockdown. Vineet, poor guy, he was always locked down forever. Okay, no, on the serious note,
Hmm.
I like what you said. It is an answer to what I had asked. Now, my
Hmm.
next question is the dark phase is past. The negativity or the rejections kind of helped you get a reality check on that you're not as great as you think you were.
Yeah.
And it kind of made you relook at what were certainties as assumptions. You were certain.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
exactly what happened was like you build your world, you build a world in your head कि by 26 or by 27 तो मतलब ये होगा वो होगा, ये कर रहा हूँगा मैं, वो कर रहा हूँगा. So by the time you are 26 27 and you are doing only half or even 10% of the things, you realize कि भाई there is the हाँ मतलब there's a huge gap. So come down. And then so yeah, that happened. And when you actually practically apply yourself, when you talk to people, when your hands start shivering, that's when you realize हाँ कि चलो now things might change because you are pushing yourself. And I think that happened a lot of times, even while presenting things, even while talking to people, I pushed myself. And yeah, it's still work in progress. It will always be work in progress, I think.
Yeah, I guess so. Um, that's exactly where my next question is leading to. So, since this is the burden of intellect that we are trying to look at, the prism is that. So, we kind of studied a bit of what has worked for you was a sense of humility because you were willing to listen to other people. Um, a sense of self introspection
Hmm.
where you were willing to relook at, be unsure. It's a word that is quite debased in the world of knowledge. Everybody wants to say, I know, I got the answers, let's do it this way. But actually, I don't know is quite a good friend to have. Being unsure is quite a good friend to have. It leaves room for trying things as
Hmm.
far as my knowledge goes. Um, I'll just try and put in a little of my experience at this stage of
Hmm.
my career. Um, when I write copy now, I spent 25 years in the business, so there's very little I have not done. Uh, Sold everything that is possible to sell because this and that and fashion and cement and
Hmm.
building material, whatever you want to call it, I have kind of somehow worked on the brands. Even now, when I work with someone, sometimes new people come and talk to me and they kind of reject my copy outright, or they say this is not good enough, or you've not got it. Uh, very, very, very lately, in the last couple of weeks, I can say I have stopped minding anything at all. It's like I'll just rework it. Um, um, one case in point, you know as well, the website that I tried to write for you all was just written and it just went out of the window, and I don't even feel bad. It's just like, yeah, okay, it's it is. I have
Hmm.
started seeing the process a lot more than I see myself, and I see
Hmm.
myself as a contributor to the process. At
Yeah.
some points it's like a jigsaw puzzle which falls in place. At some points it does not. The sense of course, I can't say that I'm absolutely untouched by it. I do feel bad, but it is very mild in comparison to what used to be earlier, when I used to. Even some days
Hmm.
are bad where you're thinking these guys are not even getting it. But that also leaves me a healthy sense of disregard for my own success as well. So there's a project that I'm doing right now. 4 days back, the client was going gaga over wow, what copy is written without listening to our brief. He's got it
Hmm.
absolutely right. So I was waiting. Okay, so now within 2 days, he's going to say that this guy doesn't know something. And in 2 days, he calls back and he says grammar is atrocious and this is not done and that.
Hmm.
I'm like, okay, I've been trying to ask for feedback on something else. So now, so things are like that.
Yeah.
They are volatile. There are good things. There are bad things. All of them, like what you described in your head, that is what works for me.
Hmm.
That there are too many things in
Yeah.
life, in our assumptions, in our experiences, which are out of our control.
Hmm.
The only thing, so what I've tried to bring in is figure out in this whole offering, which is a part which relates to me, which I can control. So there are two
Hmm.
things that I have realized. One is my own mind,
Hmm.
which I try and bring to a level of at least um, decent sense of acceptance.
Yeah.
That okay, these guys are not liking it or this is not working. Sometimes it happens that 3, 4 times I have done something and you're not still not liking it. So I have to just accept that
Hmm.
this is not working out. So I kind of leave it
Hmm.
and tell you, let it be. Monies and also I don't even fight about. Beyond the point, then I just leave it that let it be. Because the idea is to give you something that you can use.
Yeah.
Money can be discussed, but the idea was to communicate. And if I've helped you do that, then it's good. If I haven't, then it doesn't matter that we are discussing about something else altogether. Then
Yeah.
that is one part. The second thing I realize is what can I do practically is to sit and rewrite it, to sit and study about the subject,
Hmm.
or to listen to you a lot more carefully. Sometimes it is this is letting out a trade secret that I use, but it's like if I'm talking to
Secret recipe.
and I have to do suppose your
Uh,
so
uh,
I just listen to the words that you use and I give you back your words in a little more
hmm.
um, better manner. But I use the
Yeah.
same words because I've realized you are attached
Hmm.
to your idea. So
Yeah.
I don't want to sit and fight. I was telling somebody, we were discussing most of the debates in the world happen because we've already decided and then we are trying to show that we are intellectually relooking, but we are not reviewing anything. We have already decided.
Absolutely.
Whether it is this presidential election, I am reading good things. People are very happy and all that stuff. But today itself, I posted something on Facebook which was कितने दिनों के प्यासे होंगे यारो सोचो तो शबनम का कतरा भी जिनको दरिया लगता है मतलब let's be very practical वो यूएस का
Yeah.
president
Yeah.
he is not going to come and do anything for India unless it is fulfilling some purpose
Yeah.
that he has in mind.
Yeah.
Yet we are so happy because we are just any ray of hope we are just grasping. So
Yeah. Just change some narrative to it.
but that says so much more about our state of mind than actually what is happening.
Hmm.
So ये जब when I understand this, I come back to myself and I ask myself, Bunty, why are you happy about this president coming? And are you absolutely sure this is the right thing? And I always find that I'm not sure. I